We're just waiting.
I know, it's my favorite as well. We're not waiting any longer.
We're not. We're here. Welcome, everybody. It's Monday Night Live.
The best night of the week.
Best night of the week. We're back with TurningLeaf Wellness Center. And it is finally sunny.
Yay, I know.
Oh, my gosh. The weather's
Finally.
been amazing. I feel like the winter has released us from its grips for a minute. So welcome to sunny St. George, even though it's dark, but it will be. I am Dean Nixon with TurningLeaf Wellness Center and Kate Semmens.
Hi, guys.
Excited to see you again on Monday night. It's been fun. I love these now. It was Kate pulled me into this life,
Kicking and screaming.
And now I think they're fun. I don't mind. And so anyway.
So, P.S. We had an amazing weekend, did we not?
Yes.
We had a level 1 seminar,
Yep.
our awakening seminar. We had an amazing group of participants.
Yes. Big shout out to you.
Yeah, you guys are amazing. I don't know if you've noticed, but we've posted a picture of all of our participants that came through this last level 1. If you were in that level 1, I would encourage you to go read through the comments that are coming in on that, because it's been fun to see as people have said, oh my gosh, so excited for you. Your life is never going to be the same. Like, it's just too cool.
That is cool. That is very cool. I saw some of them, but I didn't get to read them all.
Uh-huh.
But I guess
Go read them, Dean.
I'll go read them.
I challenge you.
I didn't get a chance to read them, but it was a great weekend. I do love the first in the series of 4 seminars. It is that first. We call it Awakening for a Reason, because it's that first real realization of how life has been and how life can be, and the ability to really pull yourself up and really to elevate yourself into who you want to become. And the part that I love about it the most is that so much of our life, we think that it's defined by what the world gives us, rather than really what the world has given us in some ways has taken us from what we originally started as, which was just this free, open, confident, loving human being that has shifted so much.
Yeah.
And so to get back to that state, to see it, if you look at the picture on the page, you'll see the light in all of their eyes.
Oh.
They're so excited and feeling empowered again.
Yep.
And that's what I love. I love that process.
I agree. That's my favorite part. Going into the seminar on Thursday, everyone's always like, oh, what's going to happen? And then coming out Saturday and just seeing their faces just shine, and it's just so fun.
Feeling connected, reconnected. Well, as we get into our topic tonight, I know we are heading into February, and I always think of February as the month of love.
The month of love.
It's the romantic month. It's the month where we think about Valentine's Day. We think of all those cool things. And so we have worked really hard this February. We've scheduled 3 workshops to really center around relationships with love.
Right. And really actually technically 4, Dean, because even though we get into March with our value-based parenting,
right,
that's just another relationship. But, there's only 28 days in February.
Yeah, so just 3. I was thinking of, I'm sorry,
It's okay.
I feel ashamed. Not
Please
really.
don't.
Not
Please
really.
don't.
But yes, we also have the parenting piece, which is just huge. So this weekend, we're doing the workshop on self-love and loving yourself, and really working on the relationship and understanding the relationship with yourself. Next weekend will be on the dating. And so there's a lot of...
I'm so excited.
There's a lot of you, as one of you will attest, there's a lot of you out there that are really trying to figure out the dating world and trying to figure out how to navigate through that process, and to be authentically yourself, and to be able to attract individuals that you want towards you that are healthy for you.
Yeah.
So we're going to be going through little steps of how to do that, so you're attracting individuals that you want in your life. But also understanding your role in that as to how to create that life for yourself, and which is going to be cool. I'm excited about that.
Me too.
And then the week after Valentine's Day,
Right. We're taking a break on Valentine's Day so you can spend it with the ones that
with
you
the
love.
ones you got to practice what you're learning.
That's right.
And then the week after that, we jump into the couples or the communication, the communication workshop that we'll be doing.
Mhm.
And so they're all Friday night.
Yep.
They're all I think we're 2 to 3 hours,
Yep.
right?
Mhm.
And so make sure that you are looking for those. But I figured we should talk about
Yeah.
this weekend.
And what I love about it too is when we were kind of batting around this workshop idea and focusing on love for the month of February, because, you know, capitalize on what you got. But I love that we have touched base on all of those type of relationships that we have in our lives.
Right.
I think it's so cool. I think we're cool. Is what I'm trying to say. I think it's a good idea.
All right. And I do too. I do think it's important to really work on the different aspects of who we are. And I know, especially with the dating one, we've got
Mhm.
a lot of individuals that are out there working through that. Young men and women that are coming up into the world and getting into that space and place in their lives where they're trying to really get past the, hey, let's go hang out phase and get a little bit more serious about who they want to be with for the rest of their lives, as well as the aspect of a lot of individuals that are coming out of divorces,
Mhm.
or relationships that maybe aren't divorce relationships that haven't worked very well,
Right.
or weren't healthy, and so they're trying to kind of get back on the horse, so to speak, and
Get back in the game.
Get back in the game. And it's changed, and so it's really learning how to do that. So yeah,
It'll be great. We're such a good month.
got a comment: communication date night.
Oh,
There
perfect.
you go.
Trisha, that's
what
perfect.
It's for. That's what it's for.
I'm stealing it.
There you go.
I'm putting it on the event.
There you go. Post it.
I'll tag you in it, Trisha, so you get all the credit. But
There you go. So we thought tonight we'd talk a little bit about the self-love aspect,
Mhm.
and a very small preview maybe of what we'll be working on this weekend.
Right. And I love that we're starting with the self. It's like the best place to start whenever you want to start looking at your life, right?
Yeah.
Like if we can turn that mirror and really look in on ourselves, it's where all like kind of the magic happens, I think.
It is. And that's the beautiful part about it is really understanding ourselves and understanding how we see ourselves, because truly, as we talk so many times in workshops and seminars, the most important relationship you have is the relationship you have with yourself. And that's not to be egocentric or narcissistic or, I'm better or nobody else matters. It's simply a matter of understanding that how you perceive yourself is the center of all of your relationships. And how do you perceive yourself? And those are the things that are really important, because I see so many people coming in and working through this, trying to understand themselves, trying to understand who I am, trying to understand, but not recognizing that how they're seeing themselves is really what's either attracting the same relationships that aren't working to them, or it's repelling the relationships that they're after. And that view of self is really what we've got to work on.
Right. So, Dean, my first question for you tonight, because if you go back to our last Monday Night Live, we kind of touched a little bit on self-love and stuff. But tonight, the question that's coming to my mind to ask you is, when we are in relationships and we have, like, in my mind, I'm thinking of like a mother, right? She's got a spouse, she's got a couple of kids, but it's going to be really important for her to work on herself and getting in touch with herself. And that all of that self-love piece. How would you coach someone through making time for yourself, and still being able to have all of your different facets that you need to keep going forward and work? Like, you can't just be like, deuces, I'm out of here for like a year, children and husband, or you know what I mean, like job, like see ya, gonna go on a self-love Mecca journey. Like, you can't do that.
Check yourself into Rasham or something somewhere. Yeah,
exactly. So oftentimes I think that we get trapped in it's selfish to work on myself, right? So how would you coach someone through that?
Well, if you're That was very cool because it's specific and I can really kind of gear it. And so those that as you listen, just kind of maybe tweak it to you. But what I would say is, especially for a mother who is concerned, like, what is the example that I'm setting for my children? One of the things that we have to teach our children is how to self-soothe and how to cope and how to deal with things. Now, what I find a lot of times, especially with parents, is we try to save them from their consequences because we don't want them to suffer. And so we're always there. Like, we can't take a break. We can't step away. I always have to be, this self-sacrificing.
Right.
But the problem is that what we're unintentionally doing when we model that behavior is we're teaching our child to do the same thing. We're teaching them to that the individuals outside of themselves are important, and the only way to be important to them is by doing for them. So when you have a mother, for example, who takes the time out and comes to a workshop or goes to the spa or does something for herself, her children see that behavior. And then what happens is, when the parent is relieved, when the parent feels like more grounded and the mother does better with stress and anxiety, the cause and effect of that, the child's going, oh, okay, so when you heal yourself, when you take care of yourself, then you cope better with life. So for me to cope better with life, I need to make sure that I'm growing and continually moving forward. But that's kind of that misnomer, or not misnomer, that misconception where a mother may think, well, no, that I've got to teach them, I've got to be there for them, I've got to save them, I've got to always be on, and et cetera, et cetera. Well, going back to that self-love piece is the relationship that will continue with you throughout your life and has been with you since the beginning. So your understanding, apparently it's gone for a minute. Your cognitive state, your thinking state, your thinking self has been with you since you came online as about 2 months or to 3 months old. You started understanding cause and effect. I cry, I get fed, and that intelligence has been with you, and it will be with you. The cool part is, kind of a cool shout out, is this coming Wednesday, my father's turning 94.
Aww.
And I know.
Happy birthday, Pops.
Happy birthday, Dad. And I love you. And you've been a great example to me. But his cognitive state, like mine and like yours, has been with him from the beginning. So his relationship with himself is the one that he's still with today. Like, all he has is himself, ultimately. And even though we as children grew up in his home and he nurtured us and he loved us and he raised us, we left. Yeah. And we went and had our own life. And it was important that we did. And so for us as parents, our relationship with ourselves is the one that we've got to make sure is the healthiest, because that's the one that will continue as the other relationships transition, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
And so I don't know if I answered your question. I'm hoping I did. And if you have questions out there, please type them in. We love answering your questions. But did that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And then the next thought process that I have is, if you're looking at, hey, maybe I don't need to really work on myself or my self-love and that kind of stuff, I think it's like those milestones in, I'm just sticking with the parenting model. I don't have children of my own, but I've had my own parents have gone through the empty nester stage, right? When you have all of your children are now adults, and they leave the home, and there's kind of a crisis of self that happens then sometimes. And then also I'm thinking about some of my friends who have had children, and their children are now all in school. And the kind of crisis of self that happens at that point in their life, oh gosh, now I have 8 hours of my day that I can do something different than just being the parent, because they're at school now. And so I just think that working on that self-love piece will help kind of smooth those transitions out.
Oh, absolutely. Because what you're doing is you're creating a reserve. You're creating, by taking care of the self, not in a self-serving, hedonistic, narcissistic, egocentric way, but taking care of the self as in, this is the individual that's got to be healthy when the crisis comes. This is the person that has to hold down the fort when chaos is erupting. This is the person that has to be that play in that space and place. How can that person do that if they're in crisis themselves?
Right.
And it's one of those things where if you're on fire and you're trying to put your kids out and they're on fire, the flame is going to keep blazing. So at some point you have to teach yourself to self-soothe. You have to teach yourself to have coping skills. It goes back to that concept we're always talking about in value-based parenting, is you can't teach what you don't know. And yet so many times as parents, we just expect our children, we look at our children because it's what was said to us, don't worry about what other people think about you. Just love yourself. And we're like, I don't know why I'm saying that. I'm saying that because my parents said it to me. I don't know how to do it, but do that. Right. And we just think our kids are going to go, right, I'm totally going to figure that out. But when I am giving self-love, when I'm giving time, when I'm giving care, when I'm nurturing, educating, empowering, those moments in my life become the greatest moments in my children's lives, as far as like, this is how you do it. And that's the modeling behavior is so critical for us as parents.
I love that. I'm feeling like we need to pop in and see if anybody's made any comments. Just waves. That's cool.
A lot of waves.
Hi,
Thank you,
guys.
everybody. Thank you for tuning in.
So Dean, then, because I feel like sometimes when we hear self-love or self-care, like, I worked in the social work field for a very, very long time, as have you. And like self-care and taking care of yourself has been a kind of
part of what we get taught.
Yeah, it's a buzzword, and so, but typically people just think, oh, go to the spa. Oh, take a walk. Make sure you get your bubble baths in. Or if you're into like model cars, like get in touch with that. A hobby. Exactly. So what sorts of things will we be going over? Because we're not going to be talking about hobbies on Friday, right?
No, I mean, we could. There's a lot of cool hobbies out there.
Everybody bring your favorite hobby. We're just going to have craft night for a couple hours.
I did like making model airplanes when I was a kid. I think those days are gone. Now it's like Minecraft and they make it all online, which is cool too. No, we're going to be really focusing a lot on understanding self, understanding the relationship with self, understanding the roles that we keep getting caught in. There are certain stories that we have bought into about who we are that prevent us from having the relationship with self or having the relationship. For example, I could have the story like you were bringing it up. The story is a good dad would do this.
Right.
And my story is I'm a bad dad because I've done that. And I see a lot of people go through this experience, and it's really a challenge. Is a lot of times parents think if you make a mistake, if you do something huge, you just think, oh, I've ruined my children. I've ruined their lives because I made this big mistake. And I see parents that, for example, when we're working with parents in addiction that are overcoming their addiction, and they're like, I've been in jail, I've been locked up, I've had my kids taken from me, I'm this horrible parent. And I'm always, we talked about it even tonight in our group, in our Monday night group, is, children are more impacted by the changes that we make than the consistencies that we keep.
Oh, wait, you're going to have to say that again.
Yeah. So children are more impacted by the changes that we than the changes that we make than the consistencies that we keep.
Okay.
So, and that's healthy and unhealthy. So if I'm a parent and my whole life I've been enabling my children, and now I'm setting boundaries with them, that impacts my children more. And even if I'm a grandparent and I'm doing it now as a grandparent, and I'm like, well, I screwed up my kids and it's too late. It's like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
You set boundaries with your adult children. Your adult children can now set boundaries with their children, and so on. And if you've made mistakes, like even those people that have made mistakes and and what they perceive has destroyed their lives.
Mhm.
No. I'm here to tell you, those of you out there that feel like you have destroyed your life, you have now made the most liberating movement that could ever happen, because here forward, you write your story and you give up. You are forcing yourself to almost shed an image and a role and a belief about yourself that was holding you back anyway. And so now you've got this whole wide open space in front of you. The only thing that's going to inhibit you from moving forward is your worry about what other people are going to say when you just open it up and go full throttle and drop the reins and let the horse run. That's what you're concerned about, and that's the only reason why we get scared. So with self-love, really what we're focusing on is that. We're focusing on the ability to just drop the reins, let the horses run, and just be free and love yourself without conditions, and really accepting who you are. And as a parent, that's important, because the changes I make from here forward, it's not self-serving. It's giving. By me taking care of myself, it's not self-serving. That's me teaching, modeling, and helping them grow. But that change in my behavior will ripple out and affect my children for generations.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds phenomenal to me, and I'm so excited for Friday.
It's going to be good. I'm excited too.
21 minutes.
20.
Wow.
Oh, we're way over. Well,
you
not
guys,
way.
every time.
I know.
We love hanging out with you.
We do, but we better sign off.
Before we do, guess what? I'm starting a women's group.
Yes.
We have a women's support group that we're actually starting this Wednesday here at the TurningLeaf Wellness Center.
Free.
It's free. It's going to go from like 5:30 to about 7. Check out the event that I made today. It's up on our page. But basically, it's just a women's support group. We're going to get together. We're going to have a very safe, open place to be able to talk about all the things that we go through as women in today's society. If you've had divorce, or maybe like issues with your kids, or you got postpartum, or maybe a little bit of depression or anxiety, or you just need a safe place to kind of vent about when your husband bugs you sometimes, like whatever.
Right.
I'm really excited. So once again, it's going to be every Wednesday night from 5:30 until about 7. So
yes, and I'm going to be grateful that I'm not going to be there all the time, but occasionally I'll be able to pop in and be a part of it.
Only when we allow him.
When we allow. So I'll be there this Wednesday.
You're welcome anytime, Dean.
Thank you. We'll be there. I'll be there this Wednesday as we get the kickoff going. And I'm super excited, because it is a lot of the tough issues and the tough topics, ladies. We need you to have a safe haven and a safe place to come talk about them. It won't be a man-bashing or man-hating group. There's a lot of those.
We're not about that anyway, are we, gals?
But it's going to be about really healing, looking at ourselves without judgment, and that ability to love who you are regardless of what may have happened or what you may have done, and just be human. It's cool. I'm excited.
Me too.
I'm excited that you're taking this on. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
So we're excited. Please look for our events. Those of you watching, please like and share our videos. We're so grateful for the reach that we're getting and the people that are responding. And thank you. You guys are awesome fan base.
We love you, and we're excited for this month of love.
Yes, month of love. So I think it's like that, right?
Yeah. We can do it together.
Oh, no, I can't do that one. I gotta do it. I'll goof it up. All right. We'll see you guys next week.